Johnson around the corner, sockets another one.
Yeah, I think this rivalry definitely stood out above all others. I kind of never liked many of their players, to be honest, at the time. I built it up like it was a hatred game, as we did with most of the opposition, but they seemed to be on another level.
Hawthorn, the champions.
Approaches, he comes in, he's kicked a point! The best point he'll ever kick! How sweet is redemption!
Burgoyne to put them in front. He doesn't miss, he's kicked three.
Another classic between the Cats and the Hawks, and Geelong prevails again!
Yeah, that 2008 grand final, it hurt a lot, given we thought, off the back of 2007, we were the best team again in 2008, but we didn't cap it off, and anything can happen on grand final day. So it was disappointing and highly motivational for us to get back and have another crack at making it again, which we were able to in 2009, but the rivalry really ignited after that loss and a few things that were said. So, it was a great rivalry to be a part of because, Geelong and Hawthorn had a history right back in the 80s and the 90s, and that got the fans really involved in it, and the playing group. There wasn't too much love lost between the players either. So it was great, a great game to be a part of all the time with close games, big crowds at the MCG. I don't really remember anyone individually saying anything that stands out. Given we were a group of real competitors, being beaten didn't sit well with any of us, and I guess losing the grand final was enough motivation to try and get back there and make sure we were competitive against them every time we played them. And I think also just having so many close clashes over those years meant that the build-up to each game was just a little bit bigger than what it normally would be for a home and away game. So that was probably enough. And then the fact that they had some really high quality players in their team, and we did also, meant we matched up really well against each other, and the battles were always intense. Yeah, I think this rivalry definitely stood out above all others. I think given we had the grand final history, that adds that little bit more to it. But yeah, just so many close games over the years, and games that were decided by kicks after the siren, and things that their president Jeff Kennett said post-game, and things that apparently Chappie said in team meetings. It all built up to a rivalry which made fans want to turn on the TV and watch, and they certainly turned up to the games. We had massive crowds, and that was the best thing to be a part of. My favourite moment between the two teams was definitely when Tommy Hawkins kicked the goal after the siren to win the game. And I was fortunate enough to be part of the piece of play which led to it, where Mitch Duncan got the ball in the back pocket and hit me up on an exit kick, and I turned and seen Joel Selwood in the middle of the ground, and the kick seemed to hold up a little bit, but Joel won the ball in a contested situation and turned and hit Tommy on the lead. And it was just an unbelievable moment where we knew that there was only seconds ticking down. The siren went when he was on his approach. I was standing literally right behind him to see whether he'd hit it sweetly, and he'd been hitting him really nicely all night. And as soon as it left his boot, I charged in behind him. I knew we'd won the game, and I tried picking Hawk up. It just turns out that he was about 115 kilos, and I just about put my back out. But then the rest of the boys arrived and celebrated, and it was just my favourite moment between the two teams. I kind of never liked many of their players, to be honest, at the time. I built it up like it was a hatred game, as we did with most of the opposition, but they seemed to be on another level in my view. And I found myself in a lot of scuffles over the years against Hawthorn. I seemed to always have a fight with Luke Hodge. As I said, I built myself up to dislike him and Ruffy, and Lewis and Mitchell and those guys, it's not until you finish your career that you sort of understand and realise that, you know, Hodgie and Ruffy, they're actually not bad blokes. I think being an Easter Monday game, certainly being a standalone game, helps create a bit of attention between the two clubs playing one another, plus the past history, which has been well documented. But now the two teams are both really competitive again. Obviously Geelong has been competitive for the last 20 years, but Hawthorn is a team that everyone loves watching again now. They'd be disappointed with their loss against Port Adelaide, so they'll come out all guns blazing. And the Cats, off the back of another courageous, gutsy win over at Gather Round, no one would be surprised if they're not competing for another premiership this year. So it'll be much anticipated and everyone will be watching.